Relaxed work attire, because that's the area we haven't discussed, is when you are in the office. What about then? I remember when I had my first city job, I was over the moon when I was told that we had dress down Fridays. But even then, it wasn't really dress down Fridays, because you couldn't just kind of wear jeans and hoodies. It still had to be smart. Casual was what we were told. Well, I'm joined on the line now with a HR expert, Michael Doolin, who is CEO of Clover HR. It's a national HR consultancy. Michael, great to have you on Radio London. What's your thoughts with regards to casual wear then?
Shay, good afternoon and thanks for having me on. Listen, I think it's blown out of proportion. I think people have to dress in the way that they feel most appropriate given the environment. I've just come from a meeting in an airport environment with business people.
Yeah.
We were all casually dressed because it suited the environment. Tomorrow I'm meeting a lawyer in a client's office. We'll be suited and booted for that, Shay, because do you know what? That's what people expect.
What do you mean by casual wear? I guess the key issue here when we have this conversation is everyone will have a different definition of what casual wear actually is. So what would you describe casual wear today when you've met with colleagues?
I think I think this is the problem, Shay. It's different for everybody. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Casual wear for me means not wearing a tie and an open neck shirt.
Right.
But not shorts, but trousers, not jeans.
So do you own a pair of jeans, Michael?
I own several, Shay, yeah.
But you'd never wear them to the office, is what you're saying?
Never wear them to a client office environment, no.
And why is that then? Are we not in a world now where actually you can do Zoom call meetings, people are working from home, we seem to be a bit more relaxed as a society, that if you do rock up to a client meeting, you could have jeans on?
Yeah, because I think people can't take you as seriously as somebody in a suit and shirt, unfortunately. My living is about giving advice, Shay.
Yeah.
So I have to turn up, look, not just giving the part, but also looking the part. And I have to ensure that when I give it, I look it. And I think that's what people would expect. If I turned up in jeans and a polo shirt in the wrong environment and they did not know me, I don't think I'd be taken as seriously. And I think that's the mistake many dress-down policies now provide, is that they leave it too vague. And we've allowed things to go too loosely in certain environments.
So let's unpack this a bit more, as you've mentioned there, dress down policy, because look, I'm here live on BBC Radio London. We are very much in an office environment, and just thinking about everyone that I've seen in the office today, because this is an office, but everyone's pretty much dressed down. I haven't seen anyone walking around. Well, never have I ever seen anyone wearing ties, let me tell you, let alone a blazer with a suit. So what do we mean? Are therefore, if you're in an office environment all your colleagues are dressed a particular way, you're not going to be taken seriously?
I think if you're outward facing, where you're meeting clients, where you're meeting customers, where you're an ambassador for that business, to an outside audience, you need to look the part, whatever that might be. If you're an internal radio audience and you don't meet or greet anyone from the outside, it's appropriate to dress appropriate to the circumstances. It's quite right that you're relaxed and comfortable in jeans and t-shirt, because I'd imagine you're in a hot studio. I'd imagine you're in a windowless environment. I'd imagine it's difficult to get out during the course of the day. So you dress for that environment, and it's quite right that you dress for that environment.
Let me ask you another question then, Michael. When you put on your suit, is it almost like a suit of armour? Because, earlier on, I had a caller and she said for her, it was vitally important that she dressed for her work. In fact, actually, why don't we have a listen? This is Lisa, who I spoke to a little bit earlier on.
I work from home, but I still get dressed up as though I'm going out to an office. But I don't think there's actually anything wrong with wearing casual wear. I think it's kind of become a new normal now, especially since COVID.
Pause. So what's your thoughts on what Lisa has to say? Do you think actually there is something about when you kind of dress, as you've just said earlier, for your job?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look the part, you feel the part even more. You're more confident, you're more assertive. I think if you're dressed down and people are relying on you for advice or guidance on particular issues or matters, and it doesn't look the right approach, well then I wonder whether he's actually giving me good advice.
Really?
I wonder whether she's coming across in the right way.
Yeah.
You've got to look the part. Looking the part, Shay, gives you half a chance.
It's interesting, isn't it? If we look at so many different studies where they do say first impressions really count.
First impressions really do count, and in an interview scenario, there's some statistic that says it takes 10 seconds for people to come up with a view of somebody. So if you look the part, you optimise your chances potentially in the eyes of that interviewer. Now, it's totally wrong, Shay. Don't get me started on biases and prejudices and prejudgments. But if you walk into an interview looking the part, you've got more of a chance than somebody who doesn't.
And let me ask you, how important then is it for people in an office environment to look at their footwear? How important is that? And then also, should we all therefore just own ties?
It's not important to look at your footwear. I think certain environments you need to wear ties.
So when you say it's not important with footwear, what about people? Because I've seen this even with city workers, they'll have suits on, but they won't have shoes, but then they're not trainers. They're kind of the in-between, if you know what I mean. Do you think that's become more relaxed in the office environments now than Michael?
Somebody who was responsible for writing those rules for over 30 years, Shay, I wouldn't be too bothered about the footwear.
It's quite something, isn't it, how just by what you put on in the morning is going to really affect how people treat you during the day, especially when it comes to work.
But that's no different from years.
Yeah.
That's been the case in our parents' generation.
Yeah, but I wonder how many kind of, the younger generations, the TikTokers, the social media influencers of the world just want to let go of all of that, actually.
I don't know. I think, I've got two daughters who would be classified in that generation.
Yeah.
They like to go to work looking the part.
Yeah.
They like to feel that they're dressed appropriately for the rooms and the audiences that they'll engage with. But they'll equally dress down where they feel that's appropriate to do so. Yeah. They're respectful of the environment. They're understanding of the environment. I think there's more propensity to dress down than there was in yesteryear. Yeah. But that's because times have moved on. But also, there are appropriate rooms that you cannot go into without looking the part as well.
Yeah, vitally important piece of advice there. Michael, great having you on Radio London. Thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Anytime, Shay.
Thank you. Come back. Michael Doolin, CEO of Clover HR. What's your thoughts? There are particular rooms you've got to dress the part, he says.